The streets of Rio de Janeiro witnessed the birth of many empires, some built on foundations of hard work and honesty, others on the dark foundations of crime. In this underworld, one name resonates with more force, echoing through the decades: Castor de Andrade. He was known as the Emperor of Jogo do Bicho, the animal game. Castor de Andrade personified the rise and fall of an empire built on gambling, violence, and corruption. His story is not just an individual narrative, but a sharp reflection of the city that shaped him. Born in 1926, Castor breathed the air filled with ambition and danger that hovered over the hills and alleyways of Rio. The animal game, already rooted in popular culture, offered a promise of quick fortune and power. It was a twisted path, paved with the sweat of the poor and the blood of the unfortunate. And it was on this path that Castor would forge his destiny. His rise to the top was not by chance but a meticulous orchestration of intelligence, cruelty, and an innate ability to manipulate the gears of power. Castor understood that true power did not reside only in brute force, but in the ability to control the invisible levers that dictated the direction of society. He would master these levers with skill. The animal game, a tradition rooted in Rio's culture, was already running through Castor's veins long before he took control. His father, a name already established in this underworld, introduced young Castor to the intricacies of the business. But Castor was not destined to be just an heir. He had a vision, an ambition that far surpassed his father's dreams. In the 50s, the animal game in Rio was a tangle of small operations, rivals fighting for scraps. Castor saw an opportunity. He understood that to control the game, he would need to unify, and to unify, he would need to impose his will. Using a combination of cunning and force, Castor began to absorb or eliminate his competitors. With each victory, his empire expanded. He was no longer a mere gambler, but a tycoon. Castor implemented a hierarchical structure, established rules and punishments, professionalizing a business previously seen as a disorganized gambling game. This change not only consolidated his power, but also transformed the animal game into a well-oiled money-making machine. Castor's meteoric rise did not go unnoticed. Enemies emerged from all corners: jealous rivals, incorruptible police officers, and politicians eager for a slice of his growing empire. Faced with these threats, Castor responded in the only way he knew, with calculated and relentless violence. He formed an armed wing, a group of ex-police officers and hardened criminals, whose loyalty was absolute and whose cruelty was legendary. The streets of Rio, once resonating with the rhythm of Samba, now echoed with the sound of gunshots. Bloody wars broke out, bathing the asphalt with the blood of his enemies and innocents caught in the crossfire. Castor, however, remained implacable. He understood that, in this world, showing any sign of weakness would be his ruin. To ensure his dominance, Castor knew he needed to go beyond brute force. He began to weave a web of corruption, infiltrating the power structures of Rio de Janeiro. Politicians, judges, and police officers were seduced by bribes, favors, or threatened with the violence he so easily employed. The lines between the underworld and the legitimate world blurred as Castor consolidated his control over the city. Castor de Andrade wasn't just a businessman. He was a charismatic figure who knew how to use his charm and influence. In the world of politics, he navigated with the same skill as in the business world. He had powerful friends and did not hesitate to use those connections to achieve his goals. The glamour of his life was evident in his luxurious parties and the way he presented himself to the public. Castor knew that power and image go hand in hand, and he mastered both with skill. However, like many who reached the peak of power, Castor de Andrade also faced his downfall. Legal problems began to pile up, and the pressure from the authorities increased. But even after his fall, Castor's influence did not disappear. His legacy continued to impact society, and his story became an example of how power can be both a blessing and a curse. He left an indelible mark on history, showing that, sometimes, influence persists beyond life itself.